Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we are. It's Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, and I'm here with this week's roundup of chamber music live stream action for the week of January 19th to January 25th, from Monday through Sunday. Folks, we have plenty of interesting live streams going on for you today. From chamber music from London, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Oregon, San Francisco, early music from New York City, now music from Chicago and New York City, and more. And my job here at Access Arts Live is to give you the more. So I'm about to do that. Before I do so, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our platforms, do yourself a favor. Follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live. We are on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn, so that you can be sure of getting live links to more than 1,000 live performances in this coming year. Having said that, let me now move on to telling you about this week's live stream action. The first live stream that we had this week was this afternoon. You already missed it, but I will mention to you, if you followed Access Arts Live, you wouldn't have missed this. This is Jeremy Chan, who was playing Mozart, Bach, Shostakovich, and Franck this afternoon in London for St. Mary's Perivale. Always high quality live streams there. And then we'll move on to the next. There's another live stream coming up today, not too long from now. It's coming out of Portland, I think, in Oregon. In any event, it's coming out of Oregon on the, no, it's not. It's coming out of Chicago. Okay. Well, I just keep making mistakes today, folks. Okay. Tuesday, January 20th, New Music Chicago live streams Jennifer Woodrum and Marianne Parker performing Light, a performance of solos and duos for clarinet and piano inspired by thoughts of perseverance, rebirth, hope, and peace. Music by Eleanor Alberga, Stacy Garrop, Jesse Montgomery, Augusta Reed Thomas, Joan Tower, and Lauren Brianna Ware. If you do not know these composers, it's a chance to discover them. Marianne Parker is a pianist, recently concluded her term as president of New Music Chicago, so she's very well known there. She's also a faculty member of Chicago Academy for the Arts and very active in the Chicago and Midwestern area as a pianist. Jennifer Woodrum is a clarinetist who is also active in the Chicago area and is connected with the Chicago University. The pieces they'll be doing specifically are Peace by Jesse Montgomery, composed in 2020, Duo from Dancing with the Shadow, composed in 1990 by Eleanor Alberga, Phoenix Rising, composed in 2017 by Stacy Garrop, Sunlight Pearls Through Prisms, composed just last year by Augusta Reed Thomas, Fantasy, Those Harbor Lights, composed by Joan Tower back in 1983, born in 1938, but I think she's still with us. And finally, Lauren Brianna Ware's The Feather Harp, composed in 2018. Very contemporary music played by musicians who are noted for their involvement with contemporary music. What could go wrong? Check it out. Now it's a lunchtime concert in Chicago, 12:30 in the afternoon, which means it's 1:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, 7:30 in the evening, in about an hour and a half from now when I'm live streaming here in Paris, France. That's right. I'm in Paris, France for the next couple of months, so eat your heart out. Okay, let's move on then from today's to tomorrow's set of concerts, but that's two already, so it's a good beginning to the week. And let me call up some photos of the next musicians that we have for you here. The next one is David Rothman. This is the concert that's coming out of Oregon. The Old Church Lunchtime concert in Oregon, live streams this week. Regular guest David Rothman. That's Wednesday, January 21st at noon in Portland, playing Beethoven Sonata Number 8 in C minor, Opus 13, the Pathétique, and some ballades and a scherzo by Chopin. That's at 3 o'clock. That's at noon in Oregon, 3 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock in the evening here in Europe. David Rothman is a regular at the Old Church in Oregon. He's performed all of Chopin's solo piano pieces there. He's performed the entire Schubert cycle, the Mozart cycle. He's a product of the Yehudi Menuhin School in England, and then the Curtis Institute. And the panel that accepted him into Yehudi Menuhin School in England when he was just a boy included Nadia Boulanger. Lovely contact to have. I do my laundry in the building where Nadia Boulanger used to live. There's a little plaque that I pass by all the time. That's my connection with Nadia Boulanger. Okay, so then we move on. Another concert on Wednesday. Let me dig the Wednesday's concert up for you. And this one is power-packed more than one might expect. Are you curious about poetry set to music, which you may not already know? Wednesday, January 21st, tenor Nicholas Phan returns to the Philadelphia Chamber Music Society with an ensemble of musicians, including the Philadelphia Orchestra's top oboist Philippe Tondre, performing seldom heard works setting poetry to music by Louise Talma, Grazina Bachevitz, Vaughan Williams, and Johannes Brahms. That'll be at 7:30 in the evening in Philadelphia, 4:30 in the afternoon in Oregon or in Los Angeles, and 1:30 in the evening here in Europe, but it might be worth staying up for 11:30 in the morning, Thursday morning down under in Australia. It's live from Benjamin Franklin Hall. This is not the first time tenor Nicholas Phan has played at PCMS. But this time he's bringing a group of people, and I show you the pictures of all of them together. That's the oboist Philippe Tondre. And the violinist Geneva Lewis, the cellist Jay Campbell, and Everin Ozell on the piano. We do not have a photo of the violist in the group, who is Emma Wernick. But what I have to, here's what they're going to be doing. There's so much to pack in this one. They're doing Louise Talma's 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird, based on the poem by Wallace Stevens, the American poet in the mid-20th century, called 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird. It's 8 minutes long, composed in 1979. She was from Arcachon, France, born there in the early 1900s, died in the mid-90s here in the U.S. Then they'll do Grazina Bachevitz's trio for oboe, violin, and cello, so that Nicholas Phan gets a little break. That's like a 10-minute piece. Then they'll do Vaughan Williams's 10 Blake songs by William Blake, which he put to music in 1957. That's like a 20-minute piece. And then they'll do Brahms's piano quartet in A major. So everybody, the quartet gets its piece, the oboist gets to shine, and Nicholas Phan gets to shine. But the star of this show is clearly Nicholas Phan, and I want to tell you who he is, that you're going to enjoy hearing his singing if you do tune in for this, because this is Nicholas Phan. He's a tenor, okay? He's a Grammy award-winning lyric tenor. Boston Globe calls him one of the world's most remarkable singers, and he doesn't live in Boston. He's based in Chicago. He won the 2025 Grammy Award for Best Opera Recording, recording Kaya Sariaho's Adriana Mater with Esapika Salonen and the San Francisco Symphony. He's been nominated for 5 other Grammys. He'll be singing at Carnegie Hall next month. He sings at places like the New York Phil and Wigmore Hall. And in that photo there, I suspect that he's singing with Christian Machelaru at the podium, because that kind of looks like Christian Machelaru, but I can't prove that, so I can't verify it. I can't swear to it. But this will be hearing him sing those songs is that'll be something to hear. If you haven't heard the songs by Blake or that song by the songs by Louise Talma, 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird. And free of charge. People pay 30, 40, 50, 60 euros to enjoy some of these things that you get for free. I mean, you literally get for free online. Although they ask for donations if you can afford it. So what's next up, John? Well, what's next up is early music, okay? Thursday, January 22nd, Midtown Concerts host and live streams the Pandora Consort, performing an immersive multimedia concert exploring 4 of the most talked about mystical visions of Hildegard von Bingen from medieval times, with visual artist Kate Duckwell creating artistic animations of von Bingen's illustrations. Wow. And I hope that it's Duckwall, it's not Duckwell. If I misspelled your name, Kate, I'm sorry, but I'm overloaded today. I do this all by myself. Anyway, the Pandora concert, that's at 1:15 p.m., the usual Midtown concert time on Thursday, January 22nd, 10:15 on the West Coast and 7:15 here in the evening in Europe. The Pandora concert comes out of Boston. They're very interested in early music, female composers. They've done programs called Vox Feminae, the voice of women, the Witching Hour, and they have a new folk opera coming out of North American music called The Fire Within Her, and it's Kendra Comstock, Angie Tyler, and Gina Marie Falk form it, and this came to be back in the summer of Kate Duckwall is an animator and a writer and interdisciplinary artist. And I have a picture of her that I can show you too. Where is it? Well, now I'm going to lose the picture of them, and then I'll have to reverse it back around. But that's Kate Duckwall. That was the only extant photo I could find of her. And what I want to tell you about is back in June of 2023, the Pandora concert runs into Kate Duckwall, who was doing a resident artist thing at a place called the Sable Project, which is up in New England. And they put together this collaboration where Kate Duckwall would design animations for this program called Hildegard Reanimated Vision in Vision. And then she did it, and then they toured around New England in the summer of 2024. So this piece is what the French would call rodé, which means it's worked in. They have really worked on it before. So, and what I want to show you now is a couple of the illustrations that you will see that she did. Like that's one of them beside the 2 women right there. But there's another one that I want to show you here. I think this is another Kate Duckwall design, except it moves. Those different circles, they move in different ways. So that's where the immersion comes from, that you have the video aspect of it as well. And well, that's the story of it. Midtown Concerts is always quality early music, and I suspect this will be quality early music as well. Check it out. as usual. Excuse me. Check it out as usual. It's free of charge. Hats off to Midtown Concerts for another highly interesting concert. Okay, let's move on then to what we have next this week. The next live stream. Sarah Cahill. There you see Sarah Cahill just sitting out there in nature. Sarah Cahill's performance of No Ordinary Light will be live streamed by Old First Concerts in Oregon Friday, January 23rd. A new project combining classical and new compositions on the theme of homage and loss, with music by Ravel, Robert Helps, Lou Harrison, Zenobia Powell Perry, Samuel Adams, Danny Clay, and Maggie Payne. That'll be at 8 in the evening on the West Coast in Oregon, 11 o'clock in New York City, and very late at night in Europe. I think like 5 in the morning or something like that. 3 o'clock in the afternoon down under in Australia on Saturday. It's free of charge on YouTube. We give you the link. They suggest you make a donation of $20. The title comes from Jawaharlal Nehru's eulogy after Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated. He said, "The light has gone out," I said, "and yet I was wrong. For the light that shone in this country was no ordinary light." Sort of like Martin Luther King's. So the pieces are Ravel's Tombeau de Couperin, Samuel Adams' Prelude, Hammer the Sky Bright, Robert Helps' Hommage à Forêt, homage to Forêt, Zenobia Powell Perry's Homage to William Dawson. There's a lot of homages here. So that's why they title it that. Lou Harrison's Fugue to David Tudor, and Homage à Milot, Maggie Payne's Holding Pattern, and Danny Clay's Circle Songs. Cahill said, "As this year comes to a close, I've been thinking a lot about loss, with the deaths of a few close friends and also the ongoing profound loss we feel collectively. Music, as always, brings us together, and these works resonate with celebration, grief, and homage." She looks like, well, like a nice young woman. Composers who have dedicated works to Cahill, who has commissioned and premiered over 70 compositions for solo piano, are John Adams, Terry Riley, Frederick Wuzebski, Paulina Oliveros, Julia Rolfe, Roscoe Mitchell, etc. She was awarded the 2018 Champion of New Music Award by the American Composers Forum. This year, she'll be performing at the National Gallery, at MIT, Black Mountain College Museum, Four Seasons Arts, and she'll be premiering Viet Cuong's new piano concerto with the California Symphony. She teaches at San Francisco Conservatory, and she's a regular pre-concert speaker with San Francisco Symphony and the Los Angeles Philharmonic. So this, this somewhat slight, she doesn't have an imposing physical presence. You see there, sitting out there in nature is a creative powerhouse. Okay, so you might be interested in the concert for that reason alone. But if the theme resonates with you, well, there you have it. And again, it's free of charge. Okay, then there's another concert that I want to just mention to you briefly, because I already covered it in detail in the organ recital roundup that I did earlier today, so you can look it up there. And it's this, it's an organ and viola duo. Saturday, January 24th, Art Bene is live streaming this organ viola debut concert with Catholic Cathedral organist Marina Omelchenko and the Italian violist Daria Ebushitz, playing lyrical melodies by Morricone, Piazzolla, a suite from Prokofiev's Romeo and Juliet, and more. For more details, go to the organ roundup for this week. That's at 6 in the evening, European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 o'clock Saturday morning on the West Coast. It also includes works by Pierre Ney, Fauré, Mascagni, Bolman, Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, etc. Then we move on to Sunday, so there's action, every day of the week. Yeah, that's at the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow. That's why the poster is all in Russian. Now we have a top concert coming out of Baltimore on Sunday. Sunday, January 25th, Baltimore host and live streams an all Chopin program at Community Concerts at 2nd. I'm going to start that over again because I totally butchered it because my notes are all messed up. Okay. Sunday, January 25th, Community Concerts at 2nd. Live streams an all Chopin program with top pianist and the artist editor of the Schirmer Performance Edition of Chopin's Preludes, Brian Gantz, playing mazurkas, etudes, ballads, nocturnes, and more by Chopin. That'll be at 3:30 in the afternoon in Baltimore, noon in Los Angeles, 9:30 in the evening here in Paris, and 6:30 Monday morning down under in Australia. He'll be playing 3 mazurkas, a barcarolle, a berceuse, 3 etudes from Opus 10, 2 etudes from Opus 25, then some more mazurkas, a ballade, a nocturne, a Polonaise, and finishes up with the Polonaise in A-flat major, Opus 53, the heroic Polonaise. Who is Brian Gantz? He's been around since 1990, performing internationally. That's back then he was winning prizes. He's been a soloist with American symphonies, with the St. Petersburg Phil as well, London Sinfonia, Taipei Philharmonic. He's worked with conductors going back 30 years like Leonard Slatkin, Marin Alsop, Rostropovich, Pyotr Gajewski, etc. He's on the piano faculty at St. Mary's College in Maryland, where he's been artist in residence. But for a couple decades, he was on the piano faculty at the Peabody Conservatory. The Washington Post says about him, one comes away from a recital by pianist Brian Gantz, not only exhilarated by the power of the performance, but also moved by his search for artistic truth. Bravo, chapeau, check it out. And once again, if I've been spelling his name with an I, or I may have misspelled his name with a Y above his photo, rather than with an I where I have it everywhere else. But anyway, that's that. And we have one more live stream to tell you about, folks. What a week, and what quality, and what diversity, and what feeling invested in this week's live streams. Sometimes chamber music is it's Mozart quartet, etc. But these are just one performance after another, where there's something about how this January people are taking stock and exploring their feelings and all of that. So I think it's terrific. And here is the last, but not the least, of the performances to tell you about. Coming out of St. Mary's, Perivale. Sunday, January 25th, St. Mary's, Perivale host and live streams Royal College of Music graduates, pianist Andrew Yangu and Joanna Kaczperek. It's been a while since they were at the Royal College of Music, and they've been a couple for at least 10 years, a very charming couple. There you see them in a photo when they were playing at Wigmore Hall some years ago. This time they're bringing in a string ensemble to play with them, because each of them is going to play a Mendelssohn piano concerto. So Andrew will play the Piano Concerto No. 1 in G minor, Opus 25, arranged by Cord Garbin who was born in 1943. And then Joanna will play Mendelssohn's Piano Concerto No. 2 in D minor, Opus 40, arranged by Paul Waldersee back in the 19th century, because he didn't live long into the 20th century. So, but they're bringing with them a string ensemble, Sueln Agnes Agnes Kang on the violin, and Patricia Lichtscheidel on the violin, Gabor Somfai on the viola, Alexandra Pikach, that looks a Polish name, on the cello, and Manuel Deloglio on the double bass. Andrew Yangu has a debut album that came out called Le Petit Concert, the Little Concert. And he's won prizes at the Gershwin International Piano Competition, WPTA International Piano Competition, and so forth. Joanna Kaczmarek came out with her debut solo album in 2024 called Variations, which got very good reviews in the press. And she also has won prizes at the Greek Piano Competition in Bergen, at the Beethoven Chamber Music Competition, and other competitions at Safarnia Pilsen in Paris, and made a Wigmore Hall debut accompanying soprano Clara Barbier Serrano, which won a Wigmore Hall song competition. And then they also earned prizes with that in Stuttgart and in Lyon, and they've been taking it on the road. There. That's what we have for you in terms of chamber music live streams this week. Now, there is one more live stream that I can tell you about. I don't have a photo for it because they didn't put out any photos that were really usable. Composers Concordance is live streaming Timber Tantrum saxophones this Sunday, January 25th, from the Jim Kempner Fine Art Gallery. This will be at 6 p.m. in New York, 3 o'clock in LA, midnight here in Europe, and 10 o'clock Monday morning down under in Australia. Composers Seth Boosted, Dennis Brandner, Dan Cooper, Dennis Bathory-Kitz, Max Pollock, Gene Pritzker, Clemens Rothner, and Faye Ellen Silverman. Will see their works performed by saxophonist Todd Rewalt, Gottfried Stoger, Dennis Brandner, and Melissa Williams, and accompanied by Gene Pritzker on the guitar, Jennifer Vincent on the bass, Max Pollock on percussion, and two invited guest poets, Ray Tuttle and Jim Kempner. That's what we have for you this week, folks, in terms of chamber music, small stage, live streams, early music, contemporary music, and all manner of classical music by top accomplished people and by up-and-coming young people and by very soulful artists really expressing themselves in a heartfelt way on themes that are somewhat existential. I'm kind of impressed by what I've just gone through describing to you. Before leaving, I will remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video, or wherever you watch us. Please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live if you'd like to receive more than 1,000 live links to top performances like these all year long. We're on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. We want to be wherever you are so that whenever you are thinking, gee, I'd like to enjoy some live music of really great quality, it's there wherever you're already hanging out. So I will say ciao for now. I hope that one or more of or any of these live streams this week uplifts you, inspires you, or just gives you a heck of a good time. Ciao for now.